Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about Neptune in Capricorn and the stellium in Capricorn that occurred during the 80s and 90s. So Neptune moved into Capricorn January 18th of 1984 until June 21st of 1984, and then it moved back into Capricorn again on November 21st, 1984, and stayed there until January 27th, 1998. And then it moved back into Capricorn again from August 22nd to November 26th of 1998. During this period, Jupiter moved into Capricorn. So Jupiter moved into Capricorn the day after Neptune first moved into Capricorn. So January 19th of 1984, it moved into Capricorn until February 5th of 85. So Jupiter was there with Neptune when it moved into Capricorn. And then Saturn and Uranus moved into Capricorn 3 years later, both within a day of each other. So February 13th of 88, Saturn moved into Capricorn, and February 14th of 88, Uranus moved into Capricorn, and they both retrograded in the summer of that year, or like the summer, I guess. May 25th, 88, Uranus moved retrograde out of Capricorn, and June 9th of 88, Saturn moved out of Capricorn. They both moved back into Sagittarius. And then later on that year, November 12th, Saturn moved back into Capricorn, and Uranus moved back into Capricorn on December 2nd of 88. And then Saturn finally left Capricorn on February 5th of 91. And then Uranus retrograded. It actually went forward into Aquarius in March 31st of 1995, and then retrograded back into Capricorn for June 8th of 1995 until January 11th of 96, when it moved on into Aquarius after that. So, and then Jupiter moved back into Capricorn again on January 3rd of 96, just a week before Uranus moved out of Capricorn. So it was there for a year approximately. January 20th of 97 is when Jupiter moved out of Capricorn. And then Neptune finally left Capricorn November 26th of 1998, so about a year or almost 2 years after that approximately. And it did do a little bit of motion in between. But that is the journey of Neptune in Capricorn. A good 15-year period had Neptune in Capricorn. And during that period, there were obviously other influences involved. So that's a good portion of people who got affected there, including the people who were already alive. And then the people who were born during that period are here today being affected, as well as affecting the world, because Pluto is in Capricorn and Saturn is in Capricorn right now. And Pluto obviously has been in Capricorn since 2008. So right as many people were coming of age, they were affected by a Pluto conjunction to their Neptune, their Jupiter, or their Saturn and their Uranus. And that is the world we are living in right now. So what this all means in my own opinion and interpretation is that those with the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction were starting the seeds of change, the seeds of bringing a stronger sense of spirituality and expanding beyond religion and expanding beyond the structures that were ingrained into them. Because many people with the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Capricorn would have likely been raised in a family that instilled very strong structure and religion into the people that were born during that time. But the thing is that the Neptune makes them aware of subtler energies. So they were able to move beyond religion and experience spirituality at its core and expand beyond the structures that were put in place for them to grow off of. So it's not to disregard that upbringing, but to move in a more expanded viewpoint of that, and move in an expanded viewpoint of all religion, and to embrace all of humanity at its core. Because Neptune is all about our connection to each other, our oneness, our collective unconscious. So it embraces all that is. And Jupiter is more about expanding and trying to get to know all that is. And they are co-rulers of Sagittarius. So there is this whole theme of Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius throughout that time. And the people who were born during that time, especially the Saturn, Uranus, Neptune conjunction, they are about dissolving the structures and the boundaries between peoples, and putting everybody on level ground, seeing everybody as equal and seeing everybody as one. But there's also an understanding that structure must be created in order for us to grow and thrive off of it, because without structure, then there is no order. So the Saturn, Uranus, Neptune in Capricorn people are here to dissolve what is and to create from a place of innovation and spiritual understanding, and the recognition that all are equal and all have a purpose and all have a spark of the divine within them. I think that a lot of people from this era are more interested in esoteric things. Even if it is more of a science-based person, there are scientific leanings, especially with Capricorn and with Uranus and Saturn, because Capricorn likes empirical evidence, and the one thing is Neptune that really would be more of a intuitive leader of, what sort of things these people would believe in. But the sort of integration of science, or this embeddedness of science, is really ingrained into people of this generation. Saturn and Uranus alone is scientifically based in their thinking. But when you add that Neptune component, Neptune is it represents illusions, but it also represents the more mystical and what it is we can feel, what it is we can sense that goes beyond our physical senses. Of course, as we know, those with Capricorn planets tend to have a more mature outlook on life. And when you think of the combination of Pluto and Scorpio and the Capricorn planets, the level of understanding about things that people are afraid of, or things that people are suppressing or won't go to a certain place, the people with these Capricorn and Scorpio, Pluto and Scorpio, the generation I'm speaking of, they tend to push the boundaries of where people are willing to go. They question, they ask things that are deeper. They question their elders. They question society. They question the things that are in place. They won't take things at face value. If it was just people who had Saturn in Capricorn, they might go along with the status quo if it makes sense, right? But with Uranus and Neptune in Capricorn and Jupiter as well, like Jupiter wants to expand and grow and all of that. But with, Uranus especially and Neptune, this is, these are two planets that are more objective, and they don't just look at the surface. They want to be like a change maker of what is. Because the thing is, if something doesn't make sense, they will not want to participate in that. But if it makes sense to them, to their sensibilities, to the greater picture, the greater whole, then they will go along with the systems that are in place. So it's all about really appealing to a bigger picture viewpoint. But also with the Pluto and Scorpio, it's not taking things at face value and questioning whether or not someone is being fully upfront with us, or if they're just telling us the same old story. And then the Neptune and Capricorn also brings someone who is aware of the illusions as well. Because Capricorn represents reality. And so Neptune represents illusions. So you're either going to want to escape reality, or you're going to see the illusions of reality. And I think that it's probably a combination of both. Something else that I believe that the Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Stellium, and Capricorn people will be a part of is bringing a sense of spirituality and a deeper sense of democracy, potentially using the internet into politics. And I think we may see more younger people participating in politics by the year of 2020, because Jupiter is going to be moving into Capricorn as well. And I do think of Capricorn as well as Sagittarius being a part of the political sphere. I think of both of them as being very representative of that area, partially because I think the more Jupiter type or Sagittarian type of politician is more the philosophies around it, and then Saturn or Capricorn is more of the structural component, the systematic component, as well as the more authoritative component. So the interesting thing with these stelliums is that some of the combinations, Uranus and Neptune being in Capricorn, are pretty different than Saturn in Capricorn. And I think because of their sort of dissolving or disintegrative nature towards those things, the way that a lot of Capricorns who might have this stellium are going to resonate maybe with being more Piscean or Aquarian in nature rather than Capricorn in nature. And those who have the Neptune and Jupiter are going to feel a little more Piscean or Sagittarian in nature. And the way I was seeing this as well is that those with the Sagittarian planets in these, basically these outer planets in Sagittarius, they are a part of the spark of getting this started. as are the Neptune conjunct Jupiter people. They are the spark that is necessary for this stuff to get started and the change, because Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. So we're thinking, you know, burning away the old, making way for the new. Capricorn is a cardinal sign and an earth sign. So it is the builder, it is the starter, the creator of the structures. It is the one making the necessary systems in order for the Aquarian people who were born after to participate in, because Aquarius is not willing to participate in something it is against. So because Aquarius is a rebel and is ruled by Uranus, it needs these new systems to come into place in order for it to be a functioning member of the new systems that are to be put in place. So they may struggle in being in the more rigid systems that were here, that were meant to transform, and so they, you know, they need those new structures to be put in place, because it's an air sign and it's a fixed sign. So it is in the middle of a season, and so it is, you know, the fixed signs are all in the middle of the season. You know, the mutable signs are at the end of a season, getting ready for change. Capricorn, being a cardinal sign, all the cardinal signs are the beginning of the season, so they're initiating the change. And then the fixed air sign participates in the new structures, right? So, and you know, it wants to reach its ideal. So all of us have a role to play in creating a world that is conducive to all people and to an ideal that we collectively dream. So we are all unconsciously, collectively dreaming all the time. And that's kind of a Neptune ruled thing, that even if you're not conscious of it, you're still creating unconsciously. So the Jupiter conjunction to Neptune is extremely important, because it helps us to see the beliefs that are holding us back from creating what it is we really wish to see. And so it is very important that we don't get too caught up in what already is, and to believe that we can create a world that is free. It rhymed. So anyways, I think that with Pluto transiting these Capricorn energies, all of these, you know, planets that were in Capricorn when you were born, if you were born during these times, this Pluto in Capricorn is helping us to create that change, to transform the structures that are in place. And then Saturn being there is helping us to build new ones and to really focus on what is important. And of course, Neptune being in Pisces during these times is extremely helpful for the collective awakening that is necessary for all of us to come together and to be as one, and to believe in a collective dream, a collective world. So, yep. Hopefully all of this made sense. Hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome time.